The Trump administration has raised alarms over revelations that the UK Labour government is using a secretive Whitehall, quote, spy unit to flag and suppress social media posts of critical of migrant hotels and biased policing, as reported by the Telegraph newspaper. The National Security and Online Information Team reportedly contacted platforms like TikTok and X during the 2024 Southport riots, flagging content that described asylum seekers as, quote, undocumented fighting age males, and accused police of enforcing, quote, two-tier justice. Internal emails exposed through the U.S. House Judiciary oversight suggest the UK government attempted to silence lawful political speech under the guise of content moderation. The Trump team has condemned the move as a threat to free expression, signaling broader concerns about the global trend of state-sponsored censorship. Critics warn that Britain's online safety regime is now being weaponized for political ends, blurring the line between law enforcement and speech control. Labor officials insist their actions complied with platform policies and were meant to de-escalate tensions, not silence dissent. For her part, Home Office Minister Dame Diana Johnson reassured GB News that free speech is still a cornerstone of democracy in the UK and the Online Safety Act protects it.
No, we're not having our free speech monitored at all. And it's absolutely right that people can express their views within the law on social media. What I would say is that the police, and particularly last autumn when we had the disorder in August actually, it was absolutely right that the police should be looking and monitoring what was being put onto social media in terms of organisation of riots and have that information to allow them then to plan what they needed to provide in terms of protecting the public.
Now joining us is John Mates, founder of Parler and a longtime advocate for online free speech.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming. How dangerous is it when foreign governments coordinate with platforms to suppress political speech, especially when Americans are caught in the dragnet?
Yeah, so in this example, it's really common for governments and government officials to come in and say, well, we noticed some stuff on your platform, by the way, and they target the trust and safety departments at these companies. And that's basically, I think, trust and safety is this really Orwellian term for people who are there to kind of censor anything or try to take down anything that violates the rules. So when a government official comes to these private companies and says, hey, by the way, we think this might be a violation of your rules. I mean, we're not telling you to censor it, but you might want to take a look at this stuff, which is what's happening here in the UK in this particular example, because they're claiming they didn't ask it to be censored. They just brought it to their attention, right? But that comes with an implicit threat. Take a look at this means take it down, or, maybe you'll have trouble later. Because if something does happen here, we're going to hold you liable. But if it doesn't happen, we might still bully you because we're a foreign government. So these are things that we should be really scared of. This kind of stuff shouldn't be happening. Governments and government officials should not be contacting these trust and safety departments regularly for, in the guise of trying to help them. But in reality, it's for censorship.
So what kind of precedent does this set for global tech companies responding to state requests that clearly serve a political purpose?
Well, this isn't just foreign. So this is something that happened domestically quite a bit, especially during COVID under the Biden administration. They would constantly talk to these companies and suggest that, hey, you might want to take a look at this. They're talking about masks again over here. We're worried if people listen to this post and actually don't wear masks, they're all going to get sick. And that's where you saw a lot of the censorship from Facebook, from Instagram, from Twitter back in the day. All of this stemmed from this fear that, well, the government's asking us to do a favor for them, so we should. It's systematic. It's all around the entire the world, actually, that this happens. And it's particularly powerful when countries that have a large GDP or contribute heavily to revenue for these companies, when they say something, they get nervous, right? And so they want to follow through with this. And that's why you see companies like Facebook and former Twitter having a really not a very reliable backbone when it comes to standing up and doing what's right.
Could the U.S. respond diplomatically or legally when allied governments engage in online censorship that chills American discourse?
I think our government officials should call it out for what it is and do that very publicly. Use their voice and follow through with our rights to free speech to call them out for being censors and it being wrong. Additionally, we should encourage our companies to be independent and to have their own ability to respond the way they want to, which is what we've always done, or I've always done historically in the tech companies that I've owned, is when government officials come to you, you take a look, you analyze it, you try to ignore the fact that there's an implicit threat here, and you say, well, this isn't a legitimate concern, or it is, and you respond accordingly. Additionally, we need more and more competition in the marketplace. The more social medias we have out there, the less laws that are preventing social medias from competing in this space, the better.
So, John, do you think that incidents like these vindicate President Trump's push for digital free speech protections and platform accountability reforms?
I mean, certainly it supports it for sure, because we need more free speech protection in this country. We are the global leader in free speech. There's no country in the world that allows as much conversation to happen, not just online, but in the streets, as we do. We really stand up for that right and take it very seriously. We should be selling that globally. We should be living that and breathing that, and we should be encouraging it and helping companies flourish and share these American values worldwide.
John Matze, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
And coming up, the latest on Bibi Netanyahu's plans for a post-Hamas Gaza and why the American right is so divided on it. Author and speaker Evan Sayet weighs in.